What's up, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about 5 mistakes that what did I write in the title? Stupid hikers make in wet weather. That's right, you don't want to be stupid. And I know that stupid hikers have made these mistakes in the past because I've made these mistakes in the past. Get it? I'm calling myself stupid. That's how I can justify insulting everybody in my titles. Okay, before we get into the first mistake, make sure you hit that subscribe button because I am so close to 150,000 subscribers. That's my goal on this channel. So if you like hiking and you like backpacking and you like stories and mysteries and gear and advice, everything related to hiking and backpacking, smash it. Let's get into the first mistake. Wet weather mistake number 1 is not eating or drinking enough water when you're hiking in the rain. I've experienced this so many times and it makes sense. You're hiking along, it's pouring rain, you're soaking wet, it's uncomfortable, you might be cold. The last thing you want to do is halt progress towards your intended destination so that you can stop and eat a freaking Cliff Bar or whatever. That shit sucks. I mean, I wouldn't even want to eat a Cliff Bar even if the weather was perfect, but let alone in the pouring. You think I want to eat a Cliff Bar in the pouring rain, dude? And so as a result, I found that when it's raining a lot, I never consume, even to this day, honestly, I'm still stupid. Even to this day, I still have a hard time eating enough calories when it's raining. And this really is a big mistake because when it's raining, chances are it's gonna make your hike more difficult. You're gonna be expending more energy. You could be colder. The trail's gonna be slippery. It's gonna be muddy. It might be windy. You could be slowing your progress. It's just gonna make it more difficult and you're just gonna be, expending more energy. And at the same time, like I said, you're probably not gonna feel like stopping to eat, so you're expending more energy and you're eating less food. That's a recipe for disaster. So the solution to this mistake is really quite simple. Just find a freaking way, dude, to eat food even though it's raining. Whether that's planning your hike so that you can get to a shelter or spot that you know is going to be dry, maybe even a Forest Service bathroom. If you got to huddle up in a Forest Service bathroom and pound a Cliff Bar, do it. Just plan some sort of way for you to get to a comfortable situation so that you can eat. And if you can't do that, which quite often you can't, not every place has Forest Service bathrooms, unfortunately, you got to find a way to just suck down some calories, dude. Don't clip that. Whether that's just grabbing all the quick, easy snacks that you can eat while you're walking, because again, a lot of people don't like to stop moving when it's raining, myself included, so maybe you just throw all your protein bars in your hip belt pocket and you just munch on those until it stops raining. And also, don't forget to drink freaking water, dude. This is another one that happens to me all the time when it's raining. You're soaking wet, often you're cold, and so you don't feel that thirsty. You're definitely gonna be sweating still, but you're soaking wet from the rain, so you don't even really think about or feel the fact that you're sweating. And so it can be really easy to not drink as much water as you normally would. And this is bad. Just because it's raining and just because your body is soaking wet does not mean that you need to not be putting the water inside your body still, aka drinking. Why the f do you guys watch these videos? Don't make the mistake of neglecting to eat and drink even though it's raining. And speaking of eating and drinking, I want to say a huge thank you to this video's sponsor, Drink Element. Whether it's raining or it's sunny or it's just an overcast day, I don't care what it is. If you're doing cool outdoor things where you're working hard, you're sweating, you need to be replacing your electrolytes. It's not enough just to be drinking water. You need to be using Drink Element to replace that sodium, that magnesium, and that, what's the last one? Potassium. All those electrolytes that you're sweating out, because if you don't replace those, you're gonna be getting fatigued, your muscles are gonna be cramping up, you're gonna be cranky, and that would be like the best case scenario. It's gonna help you perform the best out there, and it's gonna keep you safe. They have the best flavors by far. Citrus salt is my favorite, followed up by orange salt. They have a bunch of other very unique and awesome flavors as well. And they have no sugar in their electrolyte drink mix. So if that sounds good to you, please go to drinkelement.com/KyleHatesHiking. That's drinklmnt.com/KyleHatesHiking. If you go through that link and you make a purchase, any purchase on their website, you're also going to get a free sample pack thrown in with your order of 8 different flavors. Like I said, they have so many awesome, crazy flavors that nobody else has. So this is the best way to try all of them. One more time, drinklmnt.com/KyleHatesHiking. Go get that free sample pack when you make a purchase. And thank you so much to Drink Element for continuing to support this content. So this next mistake is very obvious. It's one I've talked about in other videos. It's one every other channel talks about, but before you click away, hold up. I'm gonna talk about it again because it is just so important that it could literally save your life. This mistake is not keeping your gear dry when it rains. I know, very obvious. We're talking about hiking in the rain. It's probably the most obvious mistake is you're going along, it starts to pour and all your gear gets wet, but it happens to people. It's happened to me before. And best case scenario, you're gonna be stuck with a bunch of wet gear. You're gonna be uncomfortable. You're gonna be miserable. You're not gonna sleep well. It's just gonna suck. And worst case scenario, you could get hypothermia and you could be in a lot of trouble out there. So that's why it is so important, dude, that you keep your sleeping bag dry, your extra clothing that you're gonna wear when you're at camp dry, your electronics dry. You gotta keep that stuff dry for your comfort and for your safety. God, please keep it dry. And again, I feel like a broken record because this comes up every few videos, but it's just so important. Use a pack liner to keep that stuff dry. Don't use a pack cover. You're gonna see people talk about pack covers. I understand why people go for them sometimes, but they're not gonna work nearly as well. Use a pack liner, or if you wanna be extra sure, use a pack liner and a pack cover. I like trash compactor bags, and if you wanna get something that's even lighter than that to line your pack with, you can also get a Nylofoam pack liner. Those are a little bit more fragile, but they are lighter, and as long as you're careful about not puncturing it, it will keep your stuff dry. Put your sleeping bag in that pack liner, shove it into the bottom of your backpack, and then put all your other stuff in there that needs to stay dry, and then seal it. You gotta seal it. You can't just have the sack wide open, obviously. You gotta twist it, seal it, shove it, do whatever you gotta do. Keep your stuff dry. You can also look into backpacks that are waterproof. I know nowadays it seems like more and more backpacks are made with waterproof materials. That's an option as well, though personally, I wouldn't yet feel comfortable fully relying on a waterproof backpack to keep my stuff dry. I would still use like a Nylofoam pack liner or something like that. And this next mistake is kind of related to that previous mistake, but it's also a little bit different. This mistake is not packing your gear correctly for the rain. So of course that could include not packing correctly, as in packing in a way that results in your gear being soaked, but this also could include just packing your gear in a way that's going to make things convenient to grab when it is raining. For instance, you don't want to be digging through to the bottom of your backpack to grab your rain jacket once it starts pouring. You see what I mean? That's a great example. It starts raining, and so you're like, logically, that means it's rain jacket time. It's rain jacket time. Let's put it on. Where is it? It's in the bottom of my backpack. God damn it. Now you're digging through, you're throwing shit left and right, trying to get to the bottom of your backpack. It's pouring. Everything in your backpack gets soaked. You turn around, you hike back to your car, you leave. But if you had packed correctly for the rain, you would have known to keep that rain jacket somewhere easily accessible on the outside of your backpack. One more example of this could also kind of throw it back to the first mistake I mentioned in this video. Let's say you know it's gonna rain, but you didn't take the time to prepare some snacks in your hip belt pocket and in whatever accessible areas. Now it starts to rain and you're not gonna feel like stopping to open up your food bag, taking off your backpack, doing all that stuff to get your food out. If you had packed correctly for the rain, you could have had some stuff accessible already that you could just keep munching on so you didn't have to stop while it was pouring. You get my point. Just think about the rain when you're packing. It's important. Don't make that mistake. This next wet weather backpacking mistake is actually for when it stops raining. This mistake is not drying out your freaking gear once it stops raining and you get a chance. Now for some of you this is going to be obvious because you really hate hiking in the rain and being soaking wet like me. And so as soon as you see the chance to get a patch of sun to dry out your gear, you're going to take it. But for other people, they don't think about this. And so they're hiking along in the rain and then it finally stops, maybe the sun comes out and they're like, oh sweet, well I guess I'll just keep hiking then. Then they get to camp and they finally take off their backpack and well, everything's still soaking wet. And so now you're dealing with soaking wet gear even though it's not even raining now. And it's hard enough to deal with it when it is raining. You don't want to deal with it when it's not raining. So avoiding this mistake is very simple. Unfortunately, it's not always possible either, but if you get soaking wet when you're backpacking and then it stops and you get a chance to dry your stuff out, I know you want to make your miles. I know you want to get up to that next peak where there's going to be cell service so you can check your Tinder. I know you want to keep it moving. I get it, but maybe it's a good idea to just take a little bit of a break, find a nice sunny spot, and lay out some of your gear to dry that shit off. Don't be that guy that shows up to camp soaking wet even though the sun came out like 3 hours ago. Don't do it. This next mistake is the second most important on this list. It's only second most because it doesn't pertain as much to safety. Other than that, it would be the most important mistake. This mistake that people make when it's wet is that they don't embrace the suck. Which I know you're rolling your eyes. Everybody says, embrace the suck. Everybody says that about everything these days. But when it comes to hiking in the rain, it actually means a lot. And this is one of, if not the most helpful thing that I've ever come to realize in terms of hiking in wet weather. I wish I could sit here and tell you that hiking in the rain doesn't suck. If anyone could do that, it would be me right now. I'm inside, I'm dry, I'm comfortable. I'm just talking to a camera about bullshit basically. So if anyone could tell you that it doesn't suck, it'd be me right now. But I can't do that because, you know what, I've hiked so many freaking miles in the rain that it's scarred me, dude. I hate it so much, it sucks. So there's no way to change that sucky aspect of it. But what you can do instead is to embrace the suck. If you know there's even a slither of a chance that it might rain on your hike, go into your hike expecting it and just ready for it. That's not gonna make all the difference, but it will make some, actually a pretty big difference. That's gonna help. And then when it does start pouring and your feet start to get soaked and the trail becomes a mini river and you're hiking through ankle deep mud and you're cold and you're hungry, hopefully not if you listen to point number 1, and you miss your mom, which I miss your mom all the time, when all those things happen, stop for a second, take a deep breath, and then laugh, dude. Laugh. Because it's kind of ridiculous if you think about it. It's kind of ridiculous. You're in the middle of the woods. It's soaking wet. You could be anywhere. You could be sitting on a beach somewhere where it's nice and warm and sunny. You could be at a 5-star restaurant eating a steak. You could be anywhere in the world doing anything. But instead, you're in the middle of the woods in Pennsylvania or some bullshit and you're soaking wet and it sucks. That's funny, honestly. So don't forget that. You chose to be there. You probably have some pretty damn good reasons for being there, even if it seems ridiculous in the moment. So you know what? It sucks right now. Just embrace it and know that you're gonna be a stronger person as a result. That might be the most inspirational shit I've ever said on this stupid channel. That's right, hiking in the rain makes you a better person. It definitely makes you a better hiker. It definitely toughens you up. And it definitely makes you want to hit that subscribe button, dude. Don't forget to do it. Thank you again one more time to Element. And of course, guys, I will see you in the next video.